let's say they're diseased and tested to help them do that. It's an over-the-counter nutritional supplement, not a vaccine. It could never have worked as a vaccine rival to MMR because it doesn't work in the same way. And it was a misreading of the patent application, not by me, but by the medical school, that led him to these conclusions. And it's an example of where a little or no knowledge is an extraordinarily dangerous thing.
Well, and by the way, I don't fault anyone from developing things and then making some financial gain because of their ideas, innovation, and brain power. So, you know, if you would have been successful with a supplement, for example, more power to you.
Thank you. And sadly, the trial never got to be done, so we'll never know whether it would work or not. But it may well have been something that could have helped these children. But it's my hope that in the future this kind of trial can be done and we can advance our understanding of how to benefit these children.
Mary, I don't want parents to panic. You know, my son and his wife, they have a little 1-year-old baby. They've got another one coming in August. You know, they're battling with the idea of whether to give the little one shots or not. What do you think? Little kids, right?
George, we have a chapter in the book called What Should Parents Do? And we think that there's no substitute for parents themselves getting educated. Parents do have to do their homework. And in this chapter, my colleague Louise covers 8 different medical checks about vaccines and how to look for parents. One of the things it shows is that there is a wide range of opinion among credentialed medical experts on vaccines, from people who say just follow the CDC schedule, to those who say don't vaccinate, and everything in the middle. And I think parents have to look at that range, and they have to talk with their healthcare practitioner, and then make up their own mind.
Are there doctors who have parents and honestly tell them, I'm not sure about these vaccines. I would recommend you do this, or maybe we do one, whatever.
There are always doctors, George, and this will be a statement for you and me for vaccines.
Well, my work latterly has been concerned with research, so I will continue to do the research in an effort to advance the science, the world of science, and try and answer this question. I just say very congratulations on the book while we're on the same show, and I'm so glad it's doing well.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, it's going to come out with an explosion, I think. Can you get your license back, Andrew?
I don't know. I think the efforts now are to resolve the issue of what happens to me. It's less important than getting response. But I mean, I'm not going to. Unfortunately, there was no funding for my amendment, so that has had to be withdrawn because I was faced with costing under £500,000. So it's not that there was not a very good thing. It's simply that I didn't have the personal finance to take that through. I think it's possible. So feeling and any witness that will wisely exonerate. That again is not the issue. I'm going to focus on the issue and get on with the job, which is resolving what is wrong with children. There are only 30 million children in this country with chronic inflammatory immune diseases that you and I, George, at school never saw. So what is going on in one of the most intensively vaccinated populations of children in the world? We're seeing unprecedented levels of diseases that were historically rare and something intimate.
By the way, I don't know if one of you is aware that former MSNBC talk show host Keith Olbermann named Brian Deere the worst person in the world, gave him a bronze award, saying that he was reporting on an investigation he instigated by himself.
Yes, that's correct. He was the person who leveled the complaint against us to the GMC, as I say, not a parent or a patient, and then reported on his own complaint. So a job creation scheme for Brian.
Okay. I should have known about that, but so be it. So Mary, where do you go from here with the organization to try to promote and get the word out? The Center for Personal Rights. What happens next?
Well, my colleague Louise is the director of the Center for Personal Rights, and I think, of course, the Center will be promoting the book. The Center will be trying to get attention for the contributing authors like Dr. Wakefield in the book, and I think we'll be seeing where things go. My expectation, George, is that vaccines are in the news, and they will continue to be in the news, certainly throughout the next year, and that things will be developing. This is not a story that's going away. The allegations that vaccines are playing a role in neurodevelopmental disorders, learning disabilities, autoimmune disorders, those concerns are just not going to go away. So I think there's a place for this book.
I think so too. Absolutely. And how about you, Andrew? What's next for you?
Well, continue to do the work. I've written one book, as you know, George, on Callous Disregard, which really describes the people's background to what happened in England with Brian Deere and allegations there. What I'm doing now is working on another book which looks at Munchausen syndrome by proxy, parents having their children taken away from them because the children with autism also have bowel problems which the parents are seeking help and resolution and are being punished extraordinarily as a consequence of seeking that help and getting their children better. So that is another issue with which I'm dealing, but largely focusing on the science of trying to resolve this vaccine issue.
All right, and what are some of the symptoms, Andrew, for autism?
The symptoms are really behavioral in the first instance. They are the loss of socialization or lack of socialization, lack of eye contact, loss of engagement, loss of communication, repetitive behaviors, but because of the symptoms that go way beyond that, which are concerning me in particular, the physical symptoms of gastrointestinal distress, immunological compromise. The children suffer recurrent infections. They have diarrhea, alternating diarrhea and constipation, abdominal pain, and bleeding. These kinds of things that point to a clear physical origin for many of the problems that have largely been ignored in the past. So a constellation of behavioral and physical problems which together make a very, very complex disease syndrome, and one which we're now only beginning to understand.
I earlier, if I recall, said that you're not opposed to all vaccines. I want to make sure that I'm not speaking wrongly about that.
Well, you're absolutely right. My children were vaccinated. I am for a safety-first vaccine agenda. Safe vaccines. If you're going to administer vaccines, and certainly if you're going to mandate them for the country, indeed the world, then you have an absolute obligation to make sure they are safe as they possibly can be. The more I read, the more I discover that is not the case. Safety has not been the priority. Getting mass coverage has been the priority, and for others it's been the bottom line, profit, and it has not been safety. It is high time that we put safety as a priority. As you know, recalling